In this video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to get customers that allowed me to generate $8 million in sales on just this store alone with Google Ads. This strategy works no matter what products you sell, but the way that we sell products is way different than most people drop shipping or selling products online, so I have to tell you this first. First off, Google is all search intent advertising, right? Which means that the only people that come to our site are people that searched for the product that we buy, right? So what most people do is they get a cheap product from China or AliExpress. They sell a low ticket $30 product, and the product name usually has no specific demand because it's unbranded and it's a random product from China. And then they try to go viral on TikTok or Facebook. Now what I do is called high ticket dropshipping. So I sell $1,000 plus products online, which allows me to be way more profitable, way faster because the products are more expensive and there's more profit per order. Not only that, but I also partner with well-known USA brands that you've probably heard of. And this is the most effective strategy. It makes running Google ads way easier because the brands that we're running ads to already have demand and customers are already searching these brands' products on Google. So all we have to do is run ads to where the customer is searching for the brand's product on Google because we're running a product that already has demand. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly how to set up your Google ads so you can start running ads profitably the exact way that I've generated over $8 million on this store alone. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Okay, what's up guys? We're gonna get right into it now. So first things first, go to business.google.com. We're gonna make our Google Ads account. I'd recommend going here first because you can get your free $1,000 in ads credit when you spend $1,500 with Google Ads in your first 60 days, which honestly isn't really that crazy. It's 20 to 30 bucks a day over the course of 2 months. So we're gonna click offer A. You can do offer B or C as well too, but we're gonna hit that. We're gonna hit claim now. And that's gonna take you to this screen to either sign in or create an account. So in this case, you're gonna create your account. So create your account, and then I will show you the next step. So after you created your account, you connected it, your old email or whatever the case is, go to new Google Ads account. I'm going to take you through the process here. We're going to do create your first campaign. And for this, guys, this doesn't really matter as much. Just do whatever your business name is. So I'm just going to do Hyper Explorer. This doesn't matter that much right now, just so you know. It's going to have you make an ad, but you really don't want to make an ad. You pretty much just want to skip this stuff. All right, I'm going to refresh. So it says link. You're going to link your Google Merchant Center. If you haven't linked your Google Merchant Center and you're running ads, we'll get to that later. But basically, you're just going to skip for now. Just skip this. It's going to have you make an account. Skip. Leave campaign creation. Now do whatever your time zone is. So for me, it's Denver, USD, United States, whatever you're selling in. And then we're going to do okay, so submit your information here and then just hit submit and I will see you in the next step. Guys, so after you filled out all that payment information stuff, you're just going to hit continue. And then this is going to take you to organization and advertising agency. No, if you're not an advertising agency, no. If you just own your own business and you're running ads to it, just hit no. Who pays for your ads? We paid Google Ads directly. Save and continue. Now this is the Google Ads interface. We're going to get everything, into the deep of this in this video. But before we actually set up the campaigns and before I show you how to launch the ads and how we run ads, I want to go over a little bit more about the strategy and how everything works, because I think it'll make more sense if I discuss the strategy before we actually do the setups and the little intricacies of Google Ads. So let's talk strategy. Okay, guys, so we're going to overview this Google Ads strategy. So there's 3 different campaigns that we're going to be running with Google Ads, okay? There's generic, there's branded, and there's specific branded. And the reason why we have a funnel, a marketing funnel, is because there's going to be different people and different customers at different points of the customer journey for whoever someone buys from you, right? There's going to be different people. There's going to be people that have an idea of what they want at the top. And then there's going to be people all the way at the bottom of our funnel that know exactly what they want, know exactly what brand they want, know what product they want, know exactly what you're selling. Whereas generic is just they want something like this. And then specific brand down here is, which I'll get to in a second, is they want your product specifically. Okay. So that's the overview. I'll give an example. So here's a strategy example. Okay. So let's say we're selling Celestron telescopes. Celestron telescopes, that's a brand name in the telescopes niche. They sell high quality telescopes, right? So we want to show for terms on Google Ads. We want to run ads to terms for Google Ads because, right, Google Ads is search intent. We're running ads to specific terms that people are searching for, and then we're going to run ads so that we show up for when people search. We want to show for terms closest to what we're selling and spend the most amount of money there. So like I said, we're going to create 3 different campaigns, which I'll get to in a second. I'll actually show you in the Google Ads dashboard, but 3 different campaigns. Generic campaign. So generic campaign is like Telescope, branded campaign is Celestron Telescope, and specific branded campaign is Celestron CGXL 1100 Telescope, right? So for a generic campaign, we're probably not willing to spend as much money on advertising for someone that's looking up a telescope versus someone that's looking up a Celestron telescope, right? Because if we're selling Celestron telescopes, we have more of a chance of making a sale if somebody searches up Celestron telescopes versus just telescopes. And we even have the highest percentage of getting the sale if someone looks up Celestron CGXL 1100 telescope, because it's exactly what we're selling and it's down to the exact SKU that we're selling, okay? So we're going to spend the least amount of money for people that just want the product. They don't know the specific brand. They don't know the specific type, maybe the color, maybe the SKU name, maybe the type of the product, maybe the size, right? They just know they want a telescope, which is the product we're selling. And then we have branded. So the brand of the telescope, so Celestron telescopes, they know they want a Celestron telescope, but they don't know what specific product of Celestron telescope. So they're in the middle of the funnel. They have more of an idea of what they want than just a telescope. So we're going to spend a little bit here, but not much depending on the brand. And then this is where we spend the most of our money right here. Specific branded campaign, Celestron CGXL 1100 telescope. Okay, so when it comes to Google Ads, if you're selling a Celestron CGXL 1100 telescope, you'd probably be willing to spend way more money there than someone just looking up a telescope, right? So this is where we're going to spend the most amount of money to that specific keyword, okay? So like I said, why do we want to spend the most amount of money on specific branded? The customer knows exactly what they want. And I'm going to show you in these videos when we get into the Google Ads section, how do we tell Google that, hey, we want to spend a lot of money here and we don't want to spend a lot of money in the generic telescope campaigns, okay? So strategy continued. So how do we ensure we're spending the most in specific branded, right? The most in specific branded is what I showed you, Celestron CGXL 1100 telescope, and the least in generic for people just looking up a telescope. Like, how do we tell Google what to do? So we do that from negative keyword lists, which this might be confusing now, but I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. It's going to make way more sense when I'm in the Google Ads account. But we set up negative keyword lists. So we basically tell Google, hey, we don't want to show up for this keyword in these 2 campaigns, which basically means, hey, we want to show up for this keyword in this campaign. And we don't want to show up for this in that campaign, but we want to show up for it here. So we're going to add universal negative keyword lists. So just like there's 3 campaigns, there's also 3 negative keyword lists that we add. So universal are terms we never want to show up for. So like free, used, cheap, whatever it is, something that you don't want to show up for at all. And you're going to apply that to every single campaign you have, because you're telling Google, hey, I never want to show up for these keywords. And then we have the send to branded negative keywords, where we add keywords like Celestron telescope, Celestron red telescope, Celestron, 36-inch lens telescope, whatever it is. We basically add those keywords in that specific keyword list, and we apply it to our generic campaign, so it feeds up to the branded campaign and shows it only in the branded campaign, and which I'll get to in a second. And then we have send a specific branded negative keyword list, where we dump all of our keywords that are specific to a single product, like Celestron CGXL 1100 telescope. That is specific to one single product in your products, and we want to spend the most amount of money there. And the reason why we separate all of these with lists, which I'm going to get to in a second, I'll show you, I promise, is because we're going to bid way higher and we're going to spend way more money down here. So I'm going to show you how to kind of set up the campaigns and separate everything right now. So that's kind of how the strategy works. I hope that makes sense. I will see you in a second in the Google Ads dashboard. Okay, so we're back in our Google Ads dashboard, and we're going to be setting up our campaigns. Make sure you get your notepad out and write some of this stuff down, because this is going to be, this took me a while to learn it this way, guys. So, I'm giving it to you for free. So click new campaign. We're going to make a new campaign. Enter your business name, whatever it is. We're just going to do Hyper Explore for this example. We're going to hit next. Now, in this case, I'm just going to lower this. In this case, we're going to hit sales. Never do anything else, just do sales. We're going to do shopping. So the difference between search and shopping, if you look up Celestron telescopes, These are shopping campaigns and these are search campaigns, right? So shopping are just individual products. Search campaigns are like text ads is what we also call them. You're selling with text, whereas here you're selling just the titles and the pictures. So let's get back in here. Let's do shopping. We always do shopping first. Link your Merchant Center account if you haven't. By the way, with shopping ads, you need a Merchant Center account. So you're going to need to make a Merchant Center account and connect your products to the Merchant Center account that you have. Okay, it's important that you do that because otherwise the products aren't going to be able to connect to Google Ads. So how it works is you got your store, you got your products from your store feeding to your Google Merchant Center account. It's very easy to set up, by the way, feeding to your Merchant Center account, and then you got your Merchant Center account products feeding to Google Ads. Okay, so you're going to have to select your product there, your GMC, sorry. So standard shopping campaign we're not going to do PMax for now, Performance Max. Hit continue. It looks like I might have to connect it real quick, so give me a sec. Okay, so I had to link an old GMC account, so that's fine. I'm just gonna hit continue for now. And then we're only gonna be running ads to one brand in this scenario. So like I said before, right, we have generic branded, specific branded. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do generic Celestron, because that's the brand name that we're running ads to, okay? Manual CPC budget, you can do $15 for now. Customer acquisition, keep that off. Campaign priority, this is super important. So if we go to here, generic campaign, we have high priority. And this might be kind of hard to understand, but we want to prioritize it feeding from generic to branded to specific branded, because this is going to get the most amount of impressions and searches, the generic campaign, just because there's going to be way more searches on Google for a telescope than a Celestron CGXL telescope. So we want to prioritize this, and then we're going to add negative keywords to this campaign so it feeds through here, okay? This will make more sense in a second. I'll show you exactly how it works. So, but we're going to do high for our generic campaign, okay? Search network, shut that off. United States for your locations. I honestly, depending on the location you're in, I always add United States, and then I turn off Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico, honestly, just because the shipping's usually high. If you click location options, people in or regularly in, you don't want to run ads to people who've shown interest in your location. Make sure you just add to people regularly in. Ad group name, we're going to do the same as the campaign name, that's fine. And then bid, we are going to, okay, and then yeah, ad group name, we're just going to keep the same as the campaign name, so just generic Celestron, that's fine. Bid, we're going to keep low, so cost per click, same thing as bid is cost per click. Basically, you're telling Google how much you want to spend per click, and obviously, this is where it gets important, right? Because we want to spend way more for a Celestron CGXL 1100 telescope keyword. Like if someone's looking this up on Google, we want to spend more on that than if someone's looking up just a telescope, right? So you can see when you look at specific branded, the cost per click that we're willing to spend is 2.5, but for this it's 0.1. Okay, so we're gonna do 0.1 for that. Create campaign. Now that that's created, we are going to. Now, what you would usually do is I'm gonna pause this campaign here right there. What you would usually do is your product should be feeding in now. So you're gonna hit products, you're gonna do item ID, and then you're going to add all your SKUs in, right? So when you make a Google Merchant Center account, you're going to feed your products from your Shopify or wherever you're running at, or wherever you're building out your website from, WordPress, whatever it is. You're going to feed the products to Google Merchant Center and then feed it to Google Ads. Products aren't in here, so I can't really show you. But for now, just do item ID, and then you'll select the products that you want in there, okay? So let's just say that this was one single product, all product, just for the sake of the video. And then what we want to do is we want to create 2 more campaigns. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to campaigns here. We're going to click generic Celestron. We're going to copy that. And then we're going to paste this twice, right? Because we have to make the branded Celestron campaign and the specific branded. So pause and run in background. Let's refresh. Okay, so we got a branded Celestron, and then we have specific branded Celestron. Okay, branded Celestron. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our branded campaign, and then we are going to go into our campaign settings, and then we are going to add this as medium priority, as I stated before. Generic is high priority, medium priority. And then what we would do is we would go into our ad group, we would click on generic Celestron, and then we would just add the cost per, we would change the cost per click in the branded campaign, basically. It looks like I have to change this to branded Celestron. And then we would change the CPC to 0.75, okay? So we'll do 0.75 for this. And then generic Celestron is going to be 0.1. We don't like to spend money there. And then we got specific branded Celestron. We're going to change the ad group name, specific branded Celestron. And then we're going to do 2.5 here, remember, because we want to spend the most amount of money here. And then specific branded, we want to change to low priority. Okay, so we're going to go to campaign settings, and we're just going to do low. Okay, so now your campaigns are all set up correctly. Now we need to make the negative keyword lists. Okay, so as I stated before, we have 3 campaigns. We're also going to make 3 lists. So universal, send to branded, and send to specific branded. So we're going to start with our universal. So we're going to go to negative keyword lists and just do this first, just because this is the easiest one to explain. Universal negative keyword list. And these are words that you just never want to show up for, like free, used, China, support. And as you keep going, you'll get more and more. But these are basically words that like this person's not looking to buy any product. They basically just, maybe they're looking for like customer support, basically just terms that they just won't buy. And by the way, when it comes to keyword lists, you always want to add these quotes. Okay. Now I'm actually going to show you what these mean here real quick. Now you saw I added quotes there. Okay. Not to get confusing on you. It's really not that confusing because really we only use quotes. There's broad match, there's phrase match, and there's exact match. So if I were to add a broad match keyword that had free on it, like for example, like if I were to just put free in there and no quotes around it, then I might not show up. I might still show up for free. It's a lot less specific, if that makes sense. Like if I do exact match free like this, if I do free like this, we're basically telling Google Ads that we don't only want to show up for when someone just searches up free, right? So someone just searches up literally the word free on Google, we won't show up. But if someone looks up free Celestron telescope, we'll still show up. But if someone, which obviously we don't want to show up for free Celestron telescope. So basically what the quotes do is it tells Google that we don't want to show up for any phrase or anything regarding free, or any phrase or anything regarding use, any phrase regarding China. Okay, if it was only exact message, then we wouldn't show up for when someone searched up literally free on Google, or literally just used, or literally just China. So that's why we stay away from exact and we just do phrase match. Okay, so I hit save on that universal negative keyword list. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get into the send to branded and send to specific branded negative keyword lists. So I'm going to go to campaigns here, and I am going to go to first things first, I'm going to make here negative keyword list. We're going to do send to branded. Now, like I said, send to branded before is any keywords that are specific to the brand, okay? But not specific to a single product, because any single product would be specific branded. So we're going to look up at our product. We're going to look at whatever we have, and we're going to write down the keywords that are just specific to the brand, but not specific to a single product underneath that brand. So let's say we're running ads to Celestron telescopes. We're going to take these 3 as an example, okay? So in this case, what would a customer look up if they're looking up a Celestron telescope, but they're not looking for a single product? They're probably just going to look up Celestron, right? They're going to look up Celestron telescope, they're going to look up Celestron telescopes. What else are they going to look up? Let's look at that's pretty much, those are the main ones. Okay, so Celestron telescopes for sale. Okay, let's do that. Right, because it's still not specific to a single product, but we want to make sure that pretty much every keyword in this keyword list is going to be just the brand, not a single product. So like Celestron Nexstar 8SE telescope, that's a send to specific branded. So we're not going to add that. Exploroscope 114, Jesus, these terms are actually sound like the future. Those are going to be send to specific branded keywords, but that we're going to get to that in a second. So these are our probably main send to branded keywords. So we're going to save those. And now we're going to create our send to specific branded. Okay. Send to specific branded. So what does that mean for this? We got Celestron CGXL 1100, right? We're going to add that. We're going to add Celestron CGXL as well, because someone might look up that, right? We're going to add, I would say the whole title, honestly, right? Whatever's specific to that single product, we're going to add. So we're also going to add, I don't really know what these words mean, but I'm going to do this. So if someone searches up those 4 terms, they're definitely looking for that specific product, which is what we want. That's our send to specific branded. So we're going to go back to here. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're probably going to do Celestron. You don't need new keyword lists for every single brand or every single product, by the way. When you launch new products and new brands, you can use the same exact 3 keyword lists. You don't have to create a new keyword list, a new set of 3 keyword lists for every brand you launch, just so you know. So Celestron 700, we got this, we got, let's do the whole title. We got that. And let's move on to the next product. Let's just add the whole title here. And then we're going to shorten it because I'm sure someone's going to look up Celestron Omni XLT as well. We're also going to do the 102. So if I look up like Celestron Omni, and this is another little hack you could do. If you just look up Celestron Omni here, you could see all these things that other terms that other customers are showing up. So like XLT 150, XLT 120. In this case, we got XLT 102, right? So XLT 102. If you're wondering what these keyword monthly searches are, this is the amount of monthly searches that people are searching up on Google. You can download keywords everywhere. It's not my software. I just use it because it's helpful to know. XLT2. So we're probably not going to do Omni XLT. We're going to do Omni XLT 102 because we're not running ads to the 150 and 120, and we don't want to show up for these. We only want to show up for the person looking for the Omni XLT 102 because that's what we're selling. Okay, so XLT 102. Boom. Now we're going to save these. Now, 3 keyword lists. We got universal, terms we never want to show up for. Send to branded, we got terms we want to show up for the branded campaign where we're going to spend a little bit more money, and then send to specific branded, and that's where we're going to spend the most amount of money in the specific branded campaign. Okay, so we got 3 keywords. Now we got to start applying these to the campaign. So we're going to tell Google which words we want to show up for where, and tell Google that we basically want to spend the most amount of money for these specific terms in specific branded. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to our campaign. So we'll start with the generic campaign. So our generic campaign, let me open up, go to search keywords, generic campaign, right? Search keywords, click this, and then you're going to apply, you're going to hit use negative keyword list, and then you're going to apply these 3. Okay. The reason why the generic campaign is high priority is because everything feeds through that first. And if we tell Google, hey, for Celestron telescope and Celestron Omni XLT 102 telescope, we don't want to show up for that in generic. We want it to feed through the funnel. Okay, we want it to feed to the branded. So we're basically telling Google, hey, and we'll automatically show up for terms like telescope and big telescope and tall telescope. But if we add these negative keywords to this generic campaign, we're basically telling Google, hey, we don't want to show up for the keywords in this list in the generic campaign. Okay. So obviously with a universal like free use, we never want to show up for that. So we'll get to that. And then for send to branded and send to specific branded terms like Celestron telescopes, anything related to Celestron, it'll basically feed to branded. Okay, so now we're going to go to the branded campaign. So if anyone searches any of the terms we put up in those 3 keyword lists, it's going to feed to our branded campaign. Okay, and if it's not that, and if it's just like telescope, etc., and Google will automate that, they can read your products to know it's a telescope. You'll start bidding on those. And then if it passes the first test, so to speak, and if someone's looking up something related to Celestron, it'll feed to the branded campaign. So now we're going to open up the branded campaign. And for our branded campaign, we're going to use negative keyword lists, send specific branded and universal. Okay, so I'll explain this in a second. Universal, again, free, use, China, whatever it is. Okay, cheap, terms we never want to show up for. So let's say someone looks up Celestron telescope. It'll feed through the generic campaign. The generic campaign won't spend it, and it'll feed to the branded campaign, and it'll tell Google, hey, we're going to spend this term, Celestron telescope, on the branded campaign, and that's where we bid more money than in the generic, right? So we're telling Google we want to spend 75 cents a click for that keyword, whereas the generic campaign, like just telescopes, we're spending a cent. So for anything related to Celestron, we're willing to pay 75 cents. And anything that's Celestron related is going to feed to the branded from the generic. So that's what it is. And then the reason why we added the send to specific branded in this is because, hey, if it makes it through that first test, if someone looks up Celestron telescope and it makes it through generic and it goes into the branded campaign, if it isn't specific to a single product, it'll stay there. But if it's specific to a single product, like the Celestron Omni XLT 102, because we added our send to specific branded list here, we're telling Google we don't want to show up for that specific keyword in the branded. Now we want to show up for it in the specific branded. So if it's specific to a single product, it feeds all the way through to specific branded. If it's specific to just the brand, it feeds to the brand. And so send to specific branded, that's how it works. And then now we're going to go to the specific branded campaign, negative keywords, and we're just going to add the universal. So basically how it works is specific branded has universal, right? We never want to show up for it. Universal applies to everything. Keywords we simply just don't want to show up for. Branded has our send to specific branded and universal. And then specific branded, generic has all of the keywords because it all feeds through there. Okay, it's like our feeder campaign. Okay, so that's pretty much how to set it up. That's how to set up the campaigns and the keyword list. We're going to get into the nitty gritty stuff here in a second. But now, for the most part, your campaigns are set up, and we're going to get into the more nitty gritty stuff now. Okay, first things first, we're going to go to shared budgets, and we are going to make a shared budget for each brand. So you just made these 3. This is going to be its own shared budget named Celestron. And I recommend starting at like 15 to 30 bucks a day. You don't want to start too high with Google. It's better just to test at a low budget and then just scale what's working. So now those 3 campaigns will spend a total of $15 a day no matter what. Whereas if they're all $15 a day campaigns, then you might spend $45. But now the cumulative amount of those 3 campaigns we'll spend a day is $15. Okay. Now, like I said, we're going to get into the nitty gritty. I don't really touch the generic too much at all, to be honest. I leave that alone. But we're going to go to the branded, and then we are going to go to, let me open this up. So we're going to go to when and where ads showed, okay? And we're going to go to the devices. So with devices, we're telling Google that we want to spend more in computers than mobile phones because people, it depends on the products you're selling. I personally sell products over $1,000. So typically most people spend more money. Typically people that buy a $1,000 product are doing it from their laptop and not their phone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do plus 50. So if our bid is $1, we're going to spend $1.50 here. And if the bid is $1 for phone, if we do minus 50, we're only going to spend 50 cents. Okay, basically. So that's what I'm going to do, plus 50, minus 50. And then I'm going to do the same thing in specific branded, plus 50, minus 50. So super simple. If you're selling a cheap product, it probably doesn't matter that much. You just want to make sure that was a mistake. Minus 50 here. And then that's very simple. And then, yeah, just make sure that's set up. Like I said, if you're selling a cheap product, you maybe don't want to do that. But if you're selling something expensive, more people spend more money on computers. Also, one thing I did mention, this is the basic of the ad strategy. You really don't need to know anything else to launch ads in terms of this. I just showed you pretty much everything you need to know. But you should set up your conversion action settings. So when you get a purchase on your store, basically you know exactly where it came from. So what I do is I just download the Shopify app, Add Nabu. It's AD space NABU, Add Nabu, and I download it and it automatically connects to my Google Ads account and it tracks conversions. Because when you're running ads, this is just the setup phase to launch ads, and you could be profitable literally just doing this if you have a really good product, a really good brand you're running ads to. But it's really important to actually look at the data and make decisions off that. This was just to set it up, but eventually you want to track conversions and things like that just to know where the conversions are coming from, so you know like what to change, right? So you know if you need to raise your cost per click in your send a specific branded campaign, for example, or your specific branded campaign, sorry. But yeah, that's the basis of the ad strategy. So yeah, guys, that's the basis of my ad strategy. Setting up my ads directly like this is what's been able to allow me to generate literally 8 figures in sales, over $10 million in sales, and over $8 million on one single store. I spent $800,000 on one store to generate over $8 million. It's a 10x return on ad spend doing this exact strategy. So I laid it out for you guys for completely free. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you set up your ads correctly. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments for me. I'd really appreciate if you ask some questions. I'll be answering all of the questions that you asked down there. If you need any help as well too, I also offer one-on-one mentorship. If you need extra help with stuff like this, I mentor people one-on-one daily. I have a whole bunch of students that I've helped set this up with and for some people as well too. And we have some really killer student results. So if you're interested, I'll leave 2 links down below. One, a free training for high ticket drop shipping and selling products that are over $1,000 online, and kind of the basics of that. Because I think when you're running ads to products, it's a lot easier to remain profitable and spend more money on ads when you're selling a product that's thousands of dollars versus selling a product that's $30. So I'll leave one link to a free training below of how to kind of start a business selling products that are over $1,000 online. I'm also going to leave a link down below as well to apply to work with me one-on-one. We have some good students in the program getting really, really good results right now with this specific ad strategy. Like my ad strategy in the paid program that I teach people is pretty similar to this. Of course, obviously, when it comes to optimizing your ads and everything like that, what I showed you is only really 25% of it, because everything else after this is also optimizing and changing everything and all the little intricacies and what to do when and scaling and cutting and all that jazz. So if you want help on that, you can book a call down below with my team to see if you qualify for mentorship. Like I said, 2 links down below. Click them. And if you have any questions, leave the questions down below as well too, if you have any questions as well too. I hope this was valuable for you guys. If it was, hit subscribe, like the video, and I'll bring more value to you guys with videos like this. So I will see you in the next one. Cheers.